The Book of SERAMON, Book 1. The City of Light and Knowledge. Every civilization leaves behind its ruins. Only a few leave behind their wisdom. There are cities that history remembers because of their wars. There are cities remembered because of their kings. And there are cities remembered because of their wealth. But long before any empire carved its name into stone, there was another city. A city that believed knowledge was greater than power. A city that measured wealth not by gold, but by wisdom. Its name was SERAMON. Nestled between the blue waters of the eastern Mediterranean and the green mountains that embraced the coast, SERAMON rose like a beacon to every traveler seeking truth. Its harbors welcomed ships from distant kingdoms. Its streets echoed with dozens of languages. Its markets traded spices, olive oil, medicine, manuscripts, and instruments. Yet merchants did not travel thousands of miles because of commerce alone. They came for something far more valuable: knowledge. In SERAMON, knowledge was never treated as a privilege. It was considered a sacred trust. Every child, regardless of family or wealth, was taught to read. Every traveler was welcomed with water before questions. Every teacher believed that truth belonged to no single nation. People often said, "Gold feeds a family for a season. Knowledge feeds generations." Because of this belief, SERAMON became more than a city. It became the heart of learning. Astronomers watched the heavens from marble observatories built above the cliffs. Physicians studied herbs collected from every corner of the known world. Architects designed buildings that followed the path of the sun. Scribes copied thousands of books, so wisdom would never belong to only one person. Mathematicians measured the stars. Philosophers debated until sunrise. Children learned to ask before they learned to answer. In SERAMON, questions were considered more precious than certainty. The city had only one law above all others. Knowledge without humility becomes pride. Power without wisdom becomes destruction. No king ruled SERAMON. No army defined its greatness. Its true guardians were its teachers. Among them stood one name that every citizen spoke with respect: SERAMON, the first keeper of the Temple of Light. To strangers, he appeared to be only a wise teacher. To his students, he was the voice that guided them toward truth. To the people, he was the calm center of the city. Yet behind every great teacher stood another quiet soul. Her name was Leora. The people often said, "SERAMON teaches the mind. Leora heals the heart." Together they became the living symbol of everything SERAMON wished to become: compassion, wisdom, patience, service. Every morning before sunrise, a temple guardian climbed to the highest tower carrying an ancient ox horn. When the first ray of sunlight touched the Temple of Light, the horn echoed across the valley. Its sound awakened fishermen, scholars, children, merchants, travelers. The entire city began another day under a single belief: truth is not inherited. Truth is pursued. Few knew that beneath the Temple of Light rested halls no ordinary citizen had ever entered. Ancient archives, forgotten chambers, silent corridors carved into the mountain itself. The oldest teachers whispered that the deepest room had never been opened. No lock protected it. No soldier guarded it. Only time. And although SERAMON stood at the height of human wisdom, its greatest mystery had not yet revealed itself. History would remember the city. Legends would remember its teachers. But destiny was already walking toward SERAMON. For them, every sunrise was another opportunity to learn. Every sunset was another reminder that no human life would ever be long enough to discover all truth. That was the first lesson every child learned in SERAMON. The wise do not seek to know everything. They seek never to stop learning. Before dawn, while the stars still shimmered above the Mediterranean, the highest tower of the Temple of Light came alive. A temple guardian climbed the marble steps carrying the ancient ox horn. He never hurried. He never spoke. When he reached the summit, he faced the eastern horizon and waited in complete silence. The city waited with him. The fishermen waited beside their boats. The scholars waited with unopened scrolls. The bakers waited beside warm ovens. Children waited beside their teachers. Even the birds seemed to delay their first song. Then, the first ray of sunlight touched the highest stone of the temple. The guardian lifted the horn. A deep sound rolled across the valley. Not loud, but impossible to ignore. It crossed the harbor. It climbed the hills. It echoed through every narrow street. It entered every home. For the people of SERAMON, the sound was not merely a call to awaken. It was a reminder. Another day had been entrusted to them. Another day to become wiser than yesterday. Another day to serve rather than rule. As the horn faded into the distance, the city awakened without chaos. There was no shouting, no rushing crowds, no angry merchants, no soldiers forcing order upon the people. Order already lived within them. Visitors often found this unsettling. They had seen great capitals ruled by fear. They had walked through kingdoms where silence belonged only to the defeated. But SERAMON was different. Its silence was not born from fear. Its silence came from discipline. The streets slowly filled with life. Young apprentices carried bundles of fresh papyrus toward the great library. Stone masons polished columns that had stood for generations. Physicians crossed the marketplace carrying woven baskets filled with herbs gathered from distant mountains. Sailors unloaded rare minerals, maps, and manuscripts from ships that had crossed unknown seas. Every arriving vessel brought more than goods. It brought ideas. In SERAMON, ideas were welcomed with greater honor than treasure. No merchant was asked, "How much gold do you carry?" Instead, the oldest scholars would often ask, "What truth have you discovered during your journey?" Some travelers arrived carrying new mathematical methods. Others brought unfamiliar constellations drawn upon weathered parchment. Some carried seeds from distant lands. Others spoke of strange illnesses and miraculous recoveries. Nothing was dismissed without thought. Nothing was accepted without examination. Truth was not inherited. Truth was tested. That principle shaped every institution within the city. At the heart of SERAMON stood the Temple of Light. To strangers, it appeared to be a sanctuary. To rulers, it resembled a palace. To artists, it was the greatest masterpiece ever built. Yet none of them understood its true purpose. The temple was not built to separate humanity from the Creator. It was built to bring humanity closer to wisdom. Its highest halls welcomed philosophers. Its eastern chambers belonged to astronomers. Its southern gardens nurtured healers and botanists. Its western courts echoed with debates that sometimes lasted for days. No idea was forbidden merely because it was new. No question was rejected merely because it was difficult. Within those walls, doubt was never considered an enemy of faith. It was considered the beginning of understanding. Children entered the temple at an early age, not to memorize answers, but to learn how to ask worthy questions. The elders often reminded them, "Questions build civilizations. Arrogance destroys them." Among all the teachers, None commanded greater respect than Iran. He possessed no crown, he wore no jewels. His robes were simple, his sandals carried the dust of the same streets walked by fishermen and craftsmen. Yet kings lowered their voices in his presence. Not because Iran demanded respect, but because wisdom required none. It revealed itself naturally. Every afternoon, after completing his lessons, Iran walked through the city without guards. He greeted fishermen by name. He listened to children before speaking to governors. He accepted bread from ordinary families with the same gratitude he showed ambassadors. Many believed this humility was the source of his greatness. Few realized it was also the reason destiny had chosen SERAMON. For a civilization does not become legendary because of its monuments. It becomes legendary because of the hearts of those who build them. And in all the known world, no city guarded the human spirit with greater devotion than SERAMON. Its greatest days still lay ahead. So did its greatest trial. So did its greatest trial. So did its greatest trial.